Space, the final frontier.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see you there. Hi, I'm Andrew Thuris, and welcome to space. Some may say that space exploration is a waste of money, but to those people, I say, nay, nay! Space exploration is humanity's gateway to future technologies. Come with me to learn more. Let's go!
In the 1930s and 40s, Nazi Germany saw the possibilities of using long-distance rockets as weapons. After World War II, the United States and the Soviet Union created their own missile programs. On October 4, 1957, the Soviets launched the first artificial satellite, Sputnik 1, into space. 4 years later, on April 12, 1961, Russian Lieutenant Yuri Gagarin became the first human to orbit Earth in Vostok 1. On July 20, 1969, astronaut Neil Armstrong took a giant leap for mankind as he stepped onto the moon. In total, 6 Apollo missions were made to explore the moon between 1969 and 1972. Skylab, which was America's first space station, was a human spaceflight highlight of the 1970s. As was the Apollo-Soyuz test project, the world's first internationally crewed, American and Russian, space mission. In the 1980s, satellite communications expanded to carry television programs, and people were able to pick up satellite signals on their home dish antennas. Satellites discovered an ozone hole over Antarctica, pinpointed forest fires, and gave us photographs of a nuclear power plant disaster at Chernobyl in 1986. In April 1981, the launch of the Space Shuttle Columbia ushered in a period of reliance on reusable shuttles for most civilian and military missions. 24 successful shuttle launches fulfilled many scientific and military requirements. That is, until January 1986, when the Shuttle Challenger exploded after launch, killing its crew of 7. The Gulf War proved the value of satellites in modern conflicts. During this war, Allied forces were able to use their control of the high ground of space to achieve a decisive advantage. Satellites were used to provide information on enemy troop formations and movements, early warning of enemy missile attacks, and precise navigation of featureless desert terrain. The International Space Station is a research laboratory in low Earth orbit. With many partners contributing to its design and construction, this high-flying laboratory has become a symbol of cooperation in space exploration, with former competitors now working together. Now let's talk about the benefits of space travel.
People ask all the time why we are exploring space and if that money could help people on Earth, and I'm here to tell you it already does help. Hi guys, I'm Trace. Thanks for watching D-News. One of the biggest questions we get whenever we do space stories is why are people spending all this money on space travel? And I'm here to tell you this does a crap ton of stuff for you here on Earth. And I'm not just talking about stupid stuff like batteries, eyeglasses, GPS navigation, weather satellites, global telecommunications. You know, who needs those things, right? In 1962, NASA created a program of offices specifically dedicated to track technology utilization and industry applications of NASA efforts. Since 1976, they published an issue of what they call Spin-Off every year, cataloging nearly 1,800 projects. The projects are commercial ventures using tech either wholly developed by NASA, created in partnership or by contract with NASA, or using NASA patents, experience, technology, research personnel, data, etc. Basically, if NASA wasn't around, many of these techs probably wouldn't be either. One that caught my eye from the 2013 issue of Spin-Off was the Space Shuttle main engines inspiring new solar power plants. It was built for NASA, but the company that built it, now owned by Pratt & Whitney, took the experience of working with superheated materials and turned it into a 110 megawatt solar plant which powers 75,000 homes in Nevada. Sunlight is concentrated onto a single point at the top of a tower, and superheated salt is used to create steam and turn turbines. Software has been designed to test the control of spacecrafts long before takeoff, and that inspired bank fraud protection. Software for analyzing satellite images of stars was pointed at the human brain to help detect Alzheimer's in MRI scans. The number of technologies touched by manned exploration of space is incredible.
Okay, Mr. Nygren, what benefits do you think humans need that can be gained through space exploration?
Well, since we have a limited number of resources on the Earth, we're going at a point where certain resources are starting to run out. there are a number of resources out in space that we could actually mine and actually use here on Earth, or maybe actually as we maybe settle other places, also use those resources. So just having an ability to have resources available to us, particularly with the new technology that we're using.
What do you think the future of space exploration will look like?
There's a couple of variables that deal with that have, I think, limited potential for humans to explore space. The idea of shielding humans from the radiation as we travel further out in space from the sun. And also the type of momentum or motion, type of engines that we're going to use to get us out there, what we're going to use for a fuel source. So I don't see right away humans going out in space. I see more just exploration with robots and other types of probes, and until the future, until we can solve those major issues.
Space is whack. We could be using that money for feeding the starving, reducing our carbon footprint, and exploring the Earth further. Come with me to learn how space travel is uncool.
The money we use for space travel could instead be used to feed the hungry. The money could also be used to fund green energy research. Much of the Earth is still unexplored. Humans have only explored 10% of the world's oceans. Shouldn't our own planet take precedence over outer space?
What do you think is more important, exploring space or exploring parts of the Earth that we haven't discovered yet?
I think that they're both valuable, equally important. Neither one of them can be picked over the other, and you can't forego one to choose the other. But I think that there are a vast number of resources here on Earth that need to be explored.
Do you think the current budget for space exploration is too big, too small, just right, and why? Or just right?
Well, without completely thinking that anything should be abandoned, I think with avenues like this, we should see what private entrepreneurs would invest in any of this exploration. I don't want to sound political at all, but I suppose all people would argue that the budget is too small. I would argue that it's probably not allocated the way that it should. Let some go-getters get after these types of unknowns, and I think we would advance leaps and bounds.
Space exploration has captured mankind's imagination since we first gazed up at the stars. It has fueled a fierce competition between superpowers, and even though the costs are high, the potential gains are even higher. But what do you think? Is space travel worth it?
Humans have always gazed up at the stars. For thousands of years, we thought they were as close as the sun and the moon. But now, we know just how vast the universe is. The closest star is about 25 trillion miles away. The first people who journey to the stars will be venturing into the absolute unknown. And perhaps for the first time, traveling faster than light. Around the world, scientists are testing new technologies and probing deep into the heart of physics to find a way for us to escape our island, Earth. Our hopes to explore this final frontier will never be dimmed. And one day, we will reach it. Because what man can imagine, man can do.